There are two kinds of Nissan owner. One faces a $4,000 transmission bill at 90,000 miles. The other passes 200,000 without drama, doing things the first owner has never heard of. Number 1 is the one where Nissan may already owe you money. Number 14. They never dismiss an electrical symptom as a quirk. A dash warning that comes and goes, a flicker in the lights, an infotainment screen that lags for a second and then behaves. Most owners file these under annoying and move on. Electrical faults rank among the top complaint categories across every Nissan model in the national complaint data, sitting alongside powertrain and equipment issues. That is not a coincidence, and it is not just cheap switchgear. Here is why smart owners take them seriously. On a modern Nissan, sensors feed the engine and transmission control units constantly. An electrical gremlin can precede a sensor-related fault, or worse, it can mask one. A flickering symptom that looks cosmetic may be the first visible edge of something the transmission is already struggling with underneath. So the habit is simple. Log it. Note what the car was doing, how warm it was, and whether it repeated. Take that to a scan rather than waiting for a hard fault, because an intermittent symptom with a pattern is a diagnosis, and an intermittent symptom without one is a shrug. Powertrain issues are the single largest complaint category across all Nissan vehicles, followed by engine and cooling problems, and then electrical faults. Those three sit next to each other in the data for a reason, and on a modern car, they share wiring. The owners who treat early electrical noise as information get a warning. The ones who call it a quirk get a surprise. The next one is a single code printed on a bottle. Number 13. They use the exact fluid specification, never a universal. Walk into a quick fit shop and ask for a transmission service, and you will be offered a universal, continuously variable transmission fluid. It will be cheaper. It will look identical. It is the fastest way to ruin the gearbox you came in to protect. Nissan's transmission depends on a specific friction modifier chemistry, supplied as NS2 or NS3 depending on the model. Those modifiers control how the steel belt grips the pulleys under load. Generic fluid marketed as compatible does not replicate that chemistry precisely, and the result shows up as slippage, shudder, and premature wear. Think about what the belt is actually doing. It is not meshing with teeth. It is held by clamping pressure and friction alone, and the fluid is what governs that friction. Change the chemistry, and you have changed the one thing standing between drive and slip. Smart owners write down which specification their model takes and keep it in the glove box, so the answer never depends on what a counter assistant suggests. The same discipline runs through the engine. Nissan specifies particular viscosities, commonly 0W20 or 5W30 depending on the year, and cheaper is not close enough. Number 12 is about how often, not what. Number 12. They shorten the oil interval on the engines that earned it. Nissan's factory recommendation on many engines runs to 7,500 miles. Owners of the early QR25DE routinely cut that to 5,000, and they do it deliberately rather than out of caution. The reason is specific to that engine. The early version has a documented piston ring design flaw that causes excessive oil consumption, in some cases burning through a serious amount in a matter of days. An engine that is already losing oil between services has no margin left for a stretched interval. Put those two facts together, and the arithmetic is unforgiving. Start at the full amount, lose some to consumption, then run 7,500 miles on what remains, and the last 1,000 miles happen on a level no engine should be running at. A shorter interval does two things. It resets the level more often, and it puts a dipstick in your hand more often, which is how you find out you have a consumption problem before the engine does. And it costs almost nothing to be wrong about. If your engine turns out to be one of the healthy, later ones, you have spent a few extra oil changes across the life of the car. If it is not, you have caught the problem while it was still an oil change. This is the cheapest insurance policy on the entire list. 5,000 miles instead of 7.5 on an engine known to drink. The next one is 4 sounds your transmission makes before it fails. Number 11. They know the 4 warning signs before anything fails. A transmission rarely dies without notice. It gives you a window, and the owners who keep theirs are the ones who know what they are listening for. There are 4. A whining, humming, or rattling noise from the transmission area. Any hesitation, slipping, or delayed response when you accelerate. visible fluid leaks or a transmission warning light on the dash, and jerky or shuddering motion during shifts, especially pulling away from a stop. That last one matters most because it is the earliest and the easiest to explain away. A shudder from a standstill is the belt struggling to hold the pulleys at the exact moment the ratio is at its extreme and the clamping pressure is still building. It is not the road surface, and it is not the fuel. What separates the two kinds of owner is what happens next. One books a fluid condition check while the problem is still a fluid problem. The other turns the radio up. If you feel a shudder from a stop, that is your window opening. It does not stay open long. If you found this interesting, feel free to check out my ebook in the description or scan the QR code on the right. And don't forget to subscribe. Number 10. They drain and fill, and never let anyone flush it. This is where well-meaning owners destroy their own transmissions, usually by paying extra for it. A flush sounds thorough. On this gearbox, it is the wrong procedure. A drain and fill removes roughly a third to a half of the fluid at a time, and you repeat it. A full flush forces everything through under pressure. The problem is what is settled inside over the years, because a flush dislodges accumulated debris and pushes it into passages narrow enough to clog. So the flush does not clean the transmission. It redistributes the wear that was sitting harmlessly at the bottom into the places that cannot tolerate it. Owners have gone in with a slightly tired gearbox and come out with a failing one. The interval smart owners run is every 20,000 to 30,000 miles, drain and fill, using the correct specification. Not the 60,000 in the book, and certainly not the lifetime label. If a shop offers you a flush on a Nissan transmission, that single sentence tells you how much experience they have with them. Number 9 is free, and it starts the moment you pull away. Number 9. They drive in a way the belt can actually survive. Owners who understand how the gearbox physically works change how they drive, and it measurably extends transmission life. This is the habit that high-mileage survivors cite more often than any product they bought. There are no fixed gears in there. A steel belt or chain rides between two variable diameter pulleys, held by clamping pressure rather than teeth. Sudden torque spikes create genuine slippage risk and generate heat, and heat is what kills these units. So the specific behaviors are these. Accelerate gently from a stop and let the lockup fully engage before adding throttle. Avoid flooring it to pass. Go easy in stop-and-go traffic where the ratio is constantly changing under load. And avoid sustained high revolutions per minute or towing anywhere near the rated limit. None of that means driving slowly. It means not asking for maximum torque at the exact moments the belt has the least grip.
Long-term owners past 150,000 miles keep saying the same thing, and they are not describing a product. They are describing a right foot. The next one is a part that fixes the root cause. Number 8. They fit an auxiliary transmission cooler. Every teardown of a failed Nissan transmission tends to reach the same conclusion, and it is not about mileage or bad luck. The factory cooling system cannot adequately dissipate the heat that a belt and pulley design generates. Follow the chain from there. Overheated fluid thins out. Thinned fluid stops lubricating properly. That accelerates wear on the pulley bearings and on the belt itself. The failure everybody blames on the gearbox is a cooling failure that arrived wearing the gearbox's name, which is why enthusiast owners fit an auxiliary cooler, essentially a small transmission radiator, and treat it as the fix rather than an upgrade. Fresh fluid in a transmission that keeps overheating is still a transmission that keeps overheating. Clean fluid does not lower the temperature. A cooler does. The cost of the part sits nowhere near the cost of the unit it protects. Replacement runs around $4,000 on average, and that figure comes from documented complaint data, not a worst case. Fit it while the gearbox is healthy. After the first shudder, you are buying insurance on a house that is already burning. Number 7 is the hour that decides your next 5 years. Number 7. They pay for a pre-purchase inspection that covers the gearbox. On a used Nissan, the highest leverage habit is refusing to buy without documentation, and the inspection is the part most buyers skip because the car looks fine. The recommended approach is a golden trio: a thorough test drive, a vehicle history report, and an independent mechanic inspecting the actual car rather than the paperwork. All 3, not 2. On anything with a continuously variable transmission, There are two things that inspection must explicitly include. A fluid condition check, because color and smell tell you what the service record cannot. And a test drive that deliberately stresses low-speed acceleration and stop-and-go response, because slipping and hesitation are the earliest tells of pulley wear and they hide completely at a steady motorway cruise. A seller who is confident will have no problem with any of it. A seller who steers you toward a quick run down a dual carriageway has told you something without saying anything. An hour with a mechanic costs less than 1% of what a transmission costs. That is the whole argument. Number 6 is a document most buyers skim. Number 6. They read the history report for the gaps, not the highlights. Most buyers glance at a vehicle history report for accidents and odometer rollback, tick it off, and move on. Smart owners are reading it for something else entirely. A full report shows service intervals, odometer readings at each visit, oil and filter change dates, and any flagged gaps. That last word is the one that matters. What you are looking for is whether a previous owner actually followed through on transmission fluid changes, and a report that shows nothing between 40,000 and 90,000 miles has answered that question. This is why the report is worth more on a Nissan than on most brands. On a car with a conventional automatic, a missed service is a missed service. Here, it is the difference between a gearbox at 200,000 miles and one that failed at 60,000, and the evidence either exists in the record or it does not. Treat a gap as a fact about the car, not an inconvenience in the paperwork. No record of a fluid change means no fluid change. Price the car accordingly or walk. Number 5 is 2 minutes and a serial number. Number 5. They run the vehicle identification number against the recall databases. Recall work is free, and an enormous amount of it goes unclaimed for one simple reason. Notices are mailed to the original buyer's address. Buy the car used, and that letter went to somebody who moved years ago. Smart owners cross-reference the vehicle identification number directly against the national recall database rather than waiting to be told. It takes 2 minutes, and it covers exactly the faults that matter most on this brand. 2 examples make the point. The variable compression turbo bearing recall covers hundreds of thousands of vehicles. The older engine oil consumption recall covers early Altima and Sentra models. Both are searchable by that number, and both will show you whether the outstanding work was ever actually completed. That last part is the detail people miss. A recall being issued is not the same as a recall being performed. Plenty of cars changed hands with the notice unopened in a drawer. 2 minutes on a keyboard against a repair somebody else is legally obliged to pay for. The next one depends entirely on which engine you have. Number 4. They know whether they have an early QR25DE. The 2.5-liter 4-cylinder used in early Altimas, Sentras, and X-Trails is 2 completely different engines wearing the same name, and which one you have depends on the year. The early version, roughly the first half of the 2000s through 2006, carries a documented piston ring design flaw. It causes excessive oil consumption, sometimes burning through a significant amount in a matter of days rather than months. Nissan issued a formal recall covering 2002 to 2006 Altima and Sentra models tied to oil consumption from a manufacturing defect. Then it changes. Later revisions from 2007 onward largely resolved it, and the second-generation engine is regarded as genuinely durable, with plenty of examples exceeding 150,000 and even 200,000 miles on routine care. So the habit depends on which side of that line you sit. Owners of the early engine check the oil level manually every week or two rather than trusting the dashboard, because low oil combined with a consumption tendency moves very quickly from a niggle to a destroyed engine. Same badge, same displacement, completely different ownership. The year is the whole answer. Number 3 is the engine that got 443,899 cars recalled. Number 3. They know whether they have a variable compression turbo. If your Rogue or Altima is a 2019 through 2023, or you are in an Infiniti QX50 or QX55, this one is not optional reading. These carry the variable compression turbo engine, coded KR15DDT and KR20DDET. It uses a multi-link mechanism where each piston connects to both the crankshaft and a separate adjustment shaft, which is how it changes its own compression ratio on the move. Clever engineering, and the bearings inside that mechanism have proven to be a genuine failure point. The numbers are not subtle. A federal investigation opened in December 2023 after reports of stalling, knocking, and complete engine failure, some at under 10,000 miles. Nissan issued Recall 25V437 in June 2025, covering roughly 443,899 vehicles. Investigators recorded 1,878 related incidents and 12 crash or fire reports. A class action filed in Delaware in mid-2025 alleges Nissan knew about the bearing issue as early as 2019. So owners of these cars change oil at the shorter end of the interval, and they take knocking, hesitation, or a rough idle to a workshop immediately instead of writing it off as turbo character. On this engine, a noise is not a personality trait. It is the first data point. Number 2 is the habit that decides everything above it. Number 2. They change the transmission fluid long before Nissan asks. This is the single biggest difference between an owner who reaches 200,000 trouble-free miles and one who is quoted $4,000 at 90,000. Nissan's transmission has been the subject of multiple class action lawsuits, and the mechanical cause is consistent across nearly every teardown. Heat degrades the fluid. Degraded fluid stops protecting the pulley bearings and the belt, and the wear accelerates from there. Which makes the lifetime label the most expensive phrase in the ownership manual. Lifetime refers to the working life of the fluid under ideal conditions, not the life of your car, and the two are nowhere near each other. The owners who make it are consistent to the point of being boring about it. Drain and fill every 20,000 to 30,000 miles. Correct specification, never universal. Gentle from a standstill. Reddit threads full of high-mileage survivors describe the same routine, while owners who skipped it report failures as early as 25,000 to 60,000 miles. 25,000 miles or 200,000. Same gearbox, same car, different owner. Which leaves number 1, where Nissan may owe you money. Number 1. They check class action eligibility before paying a cent. Almost nobody does this, and it is the only habit on the list that can put money back in your hand rather than just keeping it there. Multiple transmission class action settlements have created extended warranty windows and reimbursement routes that owners simply never claim, because nothing arrives in the post telling them to. The numbers are worth hearing properly. Under the settlement covering 2015 to 2018 Murano and 2016 to 2018 Maxima, Nissan extended warranty on the transmission assembly and control unit to 84 months or 84,000 miles from the original in-service date. It agreed to reimburse owners who already paid for qualifying repairs, up to the full cost at a Nissan dealer or up to $5,000 at an independent shop. Owners who had 2 or more transmission repairs during ownership are eligible for a $1,500 voucher toward a new vehicle. Separate settlements covering Sentra, Juke, Versa, and older Altima models extended powertrain coverage from 60 months or 60,000 miles out to 84 months or 84,000 miles, and set up a formal arbitration process specifically for transmission warranty disputes. There are dedicated settlement sites for each, and you check your vehicle identification number against them. So before you agree to a single repair, check whether it has already been paid for. The money is sitting there under your car's own serial number, and the only reason most owners never see it is that nobody is going to knock on the door and offer.